Hello, friends. We are headed over to Mark Dice for the Mark Dice of the Week video. That's what I'm calling them because once a week I'm doing a Mark Dice video because he's just that good. Now, the one that we have tonight is South Park was right. 10 years ago, they predicted this would happen. Now, let's take a listen to what Mark Dice has for us today. Link to the original video of Mark Dice channel in the description below. Make sure you go show him some love if you haven't already done so. And make sure you like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. Without further ado, let's now get into the heart of the message.
After 6 months, that Canadian shop teacher who dresses like a parody of a transgender person has finally been placed on leave pending an investigation for not dressing as a cartoonish character because he, who goes by the name of Kayla Lemieux when he was at school, was spotted outside of the classroom dressed as his normal self. Now, it remains to be seen whether or not he is trolling the school and society at large to see whether or not they would accept such insanity and whether or not they would actually agree that he is a woman, which obviously they have. Or maybe he has what's called autogynephilia, and that's when certain people just get off on the fetish of seeing themselves as a woman. Only in a completely insane society would this individual be allowed around the students and not kicked out of the school and arrested immediately. In case you missed it, here is an interview with the superintendent or like the supervisor of the board of directors, some high-level official at the school, defending him as a supposed woman.
So we are, as a board, we are committed to human rights, and we're committed to supporting all our teachers and staff and students in an environment that upholds their dignity, their gender identity, and their gender expression. Right?
Things have gotten so crazy that the school is not going to be able to successfully.
Well, the thing is, the superintendent has to protect his job here. Sometimes I wonder how many of these people actually believe this is okay. But I think a lot of them are not willing to put their life on the line, their livelihood and everything, and losing their finances. Because you got to think about that, man. To go against this ideology today, it might be the end of your career. So some people are not ready to make that sacrifice, you know? When they think about their own children, their own livelihood, their own future, when they think about that, right? And they're like, oh no, I'm not sacrificing all of that for an ideology. I'm just gonna talk and tell them exactly what they want to hear. That's kind of what's going on here. But I think a lot of time in the heart of hearts of most people, they don't believe this stuff, okay? So that's just a fact.
Right?
Things have gotten so crazy that the school is not going to be able to successfully argue that this person is faking being transgender or that he's just trolling them, because the genders that have been accepted by society and by the courts across America and in Canada say that you can be gender fluid, which means sometimes you're a man and sometimes you're a woman. So just because he only dresses up like a cartoonish character woman at school doesn't mean that he's not a real woman or that's not an authentic gender expression.
Are you looking at this picture, by the way, guys? Isn't this sad? Why are we seeing all this stuff staking out? Like, this should just be the reason why you can't come into the class looking like this. The fact they've even accepted that over there, man, it's just crazy.
Expression, because he could be gender fluid. Sometimes he feels like a woman when he wants to go to work, and sometimes he doesn't when he's at home. This clip of an almost 10-year-old episode of South Park resurfaced and went viral of one of the characters, Cartman, getting upset, I think, about not being able to use the bathroom, or somebody was in the stall too long. And so he decided to identify as a girl by putting a bow in his hair and then just use the girl's bathroom.
You all pushed me to this!
He's now officially a woman. Of course, he got hauled into the principal's office.
That is so timely. I must say, South Park was like way ahead of their time for talking about this. I know this transgender ideology has been going on for a while, but for them to be talking about it 10 years ago, it's more prevalent now. In the last 6 years, I think this stuff has took off, right? But I know it's been going on way before that. But that is so on point. That is just so on point.
A woman. Of course, he got hauled into the principal's office where he fed them the literal liberal talking points about his gender identity.
I want to know just what makes you think it's okay to go inside the girls' bathroom.
Because I'm transgender. I looked it up. That means I can use the girls'
Transgender.
You are not transgender, Eric. You don't even know what that means.
Yeah, huh? It means I live a life of torture and confusion because society sees me as a boy, but I'm really a girl.
Wow.
All right, well, if you identify yourself as a girl, you must find yourself attracted to boys. Is that right?
That's actually not true. I can be transgender without it having anything to do with the gender I'm attracted to. Check the state bylaws.
That's correct. He's a transgender lesbian. He was born in a boy's body and identifies as a girl and is attracted to girls because, well, he's a lesbian. Sorry, she is a lesbian. So CPAC is going on this weekend. And
Hey, Michael. Here's Michael. Here's my guy. I didn't know CPAC was happening. That tells you how much I'm not keeping up with the Joneses here. Let's listen to this.
usually it's just a bunch of milquetoast, brand name conservatives, a bunch of Johnny-come-latelys and cowards who pretend like they're leading the culture war when they finally only got on board to talk about certain issues years after it finally boiled over into the mainstream. But you gotta respect Michael Knowles from the Daily Wire, who is obviously fed up.
If transgenderism is true, if men really can become women, then it's true for everybody of all ages.
Including Cartman.
If transgenderism is false, as it is, if men really can't become women, as they cannot, then it's false for everybody too.
Wait for it.
And if it's false, then we should not indulge it.
I can't believe he's going to say
Especially since that indulgence requires taking away the rights and customs of so many people. If it is false, then for the good of society, and especially for the good of the poor people who have fallen prey to this confusion, transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely. The whole preposterous ideology at every level.
Of course, the liberal media is...
He said it. There goes my guy. You see? That takes some guts, though. That takes some guts, especially when... Look at him smiling. Look at the smile. Oh, that's a great one. That's a great one. I need to hear that again.
Public life entirely. The whole preposterous ideology at every level.
Everything.
Of course, the liberal media is furious. Here's Rolling Stone. CPAC speaker calls for transgender people to be eradicated.
That's not what he said. He's talking about the ideology. One thing you go about the ideology is something you go about after another person or people who are part of an ideology. That's not the same thing. So the ideology itself is the problem, not the people.
And they're claiming that he was calling for the genocide of them. Here's Democrat state senator in California, of course, Scott Wiener, who says that it is straight up a call for genocide. I'm actually surprised that he used such strong language, but at this rate, maybe by the next Gay Pride Month, Christians and pastors and brand name conservatives across the country will start telling the gays to get back into the closet.
Well, I wish that was true. Oh, by the way, I just did a video about this. Yeah. Oh, no, this is different. This is Tennessee. I did the one about Mississippi governor. Yeah, I spoke about that. So this is Tennessee governor signing a bill restricting drag shows. Ha! Woo! Praise the Lord. There is hope. There is hope. Where's my clapping hand? Where's my clapping hand? There they are. This is good to hear. Anyway, let's keep going.
And now, in numerous Republican states, various bills have been introduced. And in Tennessee, the governor has signed the first of its kind bill protecting children from the LGBT extremists and the groomers, or
right.
as the liberal media says, restricting drag shows. Oh no, they can't bring the children to the drag shows anymore in Tennessee or perform them out in public where normal people might stumble across them and see it. The Marxists are absolutely furious. This is from the Associated Press. As Tennessee and others target drag shows, many wonder why.
Right now, you have a governor from Tennessee has decided to go after drag shows. What sense does that make, to go after drag shows?
It makes a lot of sense when you see what's happening in these drag shows. Let me see if I could find you a video, okay, of what's going on in some of these drag shows. Here is a video. Yeah, this is a drag show video with babies around. Yeah. Yepers. All right. Let me remind you, these are babies, children. This is a man in heels with, I don't know, very scampy looking clothes. These are mothers. You know what's always amazing about these drag shows? You barely see any men. You might find one or two. Majority of these women, brainless mothers, literally brainless, who think that they're helping their sons and daughters to be sitting here and watch this happen. I don't know what led them to think this is a good idea. But nevertheless, this is what a drag show is in some cases. This is these people, these drag performers here, they usually perform for adults. Now they're doing this in front of children, and we call it rights now. And if you speak against that, you say you're trying to marginalize them. No, this is people who are, okay, when you hear the word grooming, that's what's happening here. These are people that are indoctrinating children sexually. They're preparing their minds, starting here. They are getting them into a mindset where they think sexual content is good for them. That is not a good thing for children, okay? It's gonna be a bad we're gonna have a really sad and bad and twisted generation who are growing up under this. Yeah, this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. This is the drag show we're talking about. This is what people are crying about and say children should have access to this. Like, I won't even go to a place where any person, even if a woman was doing that, I wouldn't even want to go there. And I'm a man. I wouldn't want to go there. First of all, I would do it because I'm a Christian. But secondly, it's just not a good look. Like, there's nothing positive about this. Yep. You got more. This is what drag shows are all about. So you wonder why they should be banned? Of course they should be banned. Like, no decent person should be okay with this. I want to pause the music here because I don't want to get a copyright strike. So, yeah, look at that. Yeah. And these mothers think this is a great idea. I still can't find one single man, though. So I wonder how many of these husbands actually know. Like, my wife took my son or daughter to a drag show. How many of them actually know this? I wonder. Yeah. I think what's going on here as well, some of these mothers, they brought their kids here because they themselves want to be at a strip kind of club. They actually want to see men doing this. I think there's a fetish from a lot of women concerning this. Just like men going to a strip club, the drag show is like becoming a strip club version for women. I think that's what's going on here. I think it's beyond the children. I think the children are the excuse that are used. But also, I think it's more that they themselves enjoying this. They're enjoying this. There's some type of fetish and attraction, or they're either infatuated to a degree about seeing men doing this. I think that's what's going on here. Yeah. Yep. No, we don't need the music. We can do without. But you get the point, all right? Let's get back to our man here, okay? So when people are talking about drag show, being banned, yada, yada, yada. It's like, do you know what you're talking about? They're pushing some of the worst thing you could ever think about. All right. So that's what Corinne Jean-Pierre is talking about here. Corinne Jean-Pierre, oh, they banned drag show. It's like, girl, like, what is wrong with you?
Has decided to go after drag shows. What sense does that make, to go after drag shows? How is that going to help people's lives?
Actually, the question is, what sense is it bringing small children to drag shows, which are inherently sexual performances? It looks like finally conservatives and Christians have had enough. And after being scared into being silent and being censored on social media and threatened to be canceled if they dared to disagree, even with moderate language, it looks like people have finally had enough and are starting to do something about it. Oh, also, speaking of CPAC, Donald Trump was there where he gave the keynote address, saying in part this.
When we started this journey, a journey like there has never been before, there's never been anything like this. We had a Republican Party that was ruled by freaks, neocons, globalists, open border zealots, and fools. But
He's so right, though. It's so true. My perspective of the Republican Party back then is actually a perfect description of what he is saying here, because I was like, that's what Republican is? I wanted nothing to do with them back then. But the stuff that Trump has, I don't know, man, with this MAGA movement, the Republican Party has taken on a new nature. I'm not saying everything about it is good, but they got guts, boy. They got guts.
we are never going back to the party of Paul Ryan, Karl Rove, and Jeb Bush.
That's my man. That's my man. I'm telling you, I love this guy.
Listen to that applause. He also said this.
And I will implement a 4-year plan to phase out all Chinese imports of essential goods and gain total independence from China. We have to do it. We have to do it. I will hold China financially accountable for unleashing the China virus upon.
Ooh, boy. Somebody said it. I know he had to be him. He had to be him.
On the world.
And now the FBI and other government agencies are finally admitting what all of us have known for years, that the coronavirus was engineered in the lab in Wuhan and just supposedly accidentally leaked out. So to celebrate, order my new Conspiracy Theorists Were Right shirt from my online store at markdice.com or click the link in the description below. Like all of my designs, it's available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check it out.
Amazing. Great job, Mark Dice. This was amazing, powerful, well done, well said. Much more could be added or taken. I don't know, man. I think this man is on fire. I love the way he presents his stuff, and I love how he gets into the heart of the message. There's a lot of people out there who will say, man, videos like this is transphobic. It's not loving and caring. I will say this thing. This is where I'll take my stand right here. Are you ready for this? Here is my stand. 2 Corinthians 5, verse 17. It says, "For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, that everyone may receive the things done in his body according to what we have done, whether it be good or bad." So what am I saying? We're going to leave the argument to the judgment. If you believe that I'm in the wrong for standing against an ideology that is tearing apart our culture, I'll see you at the judgment. If you believe you're in the right for standing for these ideologies, transgenderism, and all this stuff that is ripping our culture apart, if you believe you're in the right for children to be exposed to LGBT stuff, drag queen stuff, for them to be butchered and transgendered and their bodies to be mutilated and so on, if you believe this is okay to do, fine. I'll see you at the judgment. Like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.